We are gathered here today to sip some tea, honey, so make sure you guys have your teacups ready because this tea is what? Piping hot. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. So I want to come on here and talk about the whole Floyd Mayweather situation. So if you guys don't know, Floyd Mayweather did an interview today with DJ Who Kid. And basically in that interview, Floyd Mayweather is talking about the state of hip hop and how music has changed. But he made a very, very important point. And basically he's stating that he doesn't understand why in today's music it's okay to be a junkie, and that you have a lot of these artists like Future and a whole bunch of them who do nothing but promote, being high, popping mollies and perks and mollies and perks and all that bullshit.
Mask on, fuck it, mask on. Mask on, fuck it, mask on. Percocet, Miley Percocet. Chase a chick, never chase a bitch. Chase no bitch.
So Floyd Mayweather is talking about this with DJ Who Kid. I want you guys to go ahead and check out this interview really quick, and I'm gonna come back with the rest of my commentary.
Music has changed drastically, and a lot of times when music changes, as we get older, we don't change with the music. So we have to understand, rap has took a heavy turn. So at one particular time in rap, it was all about the lyrics, the beats, the lyrics. Now it's all about just, it's a little different.
It's like the vibe. It's like a vibe now. Or if you're under the influence, and then they brought in fashion into it now. Like you got to be like swagged out. Like it's crazy.
I can remember always, what we talked about, just marijuana. Now it's okay to be a junkie in the music world. It's okay to be a junkie. I mean, this is crazy that it's okay to OD on drugs. It's okay to take any drugs now. It's okay to be a junkie. And when the legendary rappers like to stick to what they talk to, because when you go back to really listen to legendary rap, you like, this is timeless music. Guys like Biggie, guys like Pop, timeless music. I mean, you have to realize that you just think about, the Grammy, with the Billboard Music Awards, and a lot of times, even like 50 Cent, he didn't get a lot of certain awards, but I didn't understand why when at one particular time, he was in the lane of his own. So.
All right, so you guys just heard that interview, and I think that Floyd Mayweather, I don't always agree with things that he says or does, but I definitely agree with him in this interview. He kept it all the way 100. And I'm really glad that a big celebrity like Floyd Mayweather is calling out the bullshit. OG Maceo caught this out like 2 years ago. He called out, Future for glorifying drug use, especially with his albums Dirty Sprite 1 and Dirty Sprite 2, and how he's always bragging about lean and stuff like that. And, I've talked about this in previous videos. I've showed you guys, clips of 21 Savage pouring lean on his pancakes and, just making it seem like this shit is okay and there's no consequences to this.
Yeah, we doing, dog. Pouring red on our waffles, man. You know how we rock.
I don't understand the point of people just getting high off of promethazine and pain medicine and popping perks. And I hate that feeling, you know what I'm saying? And for people to do this as a recreation is crazy. And the unfortunate thing is when people are abusing prescription drug medications, it makes it tougher for people who have real chronic illnesses to get their medicine because people are straight up abusing prescription drugs. It's really sad that it's gotten to this point. And I think what I find even more disgusting is the fact that Future doesn't really partake in this. He's come out, he's admitted that he doesn't really use drugs, and this is just part of his marketing ploy. And that's the part that's sad, is that a lot of young kids, they don't realize that. A lot of young kids are not watching the interview where Future is saying that he doesn't use drugs and this is a marketing ploy. A lot of kids are getting his album and they're listening to the album and they're thinking that that's how you're supposed to live your life. You're supposed to be high all the time and buzzed out your mind and putting fucking lean on your pancake syrup as opposed to using Aunt Jemima. The whole situation is insane to me. And another thing that also bothers me on top of that is, Future's not the first one to do this. Floyd Mayweather's own homeboy, 50 Cent, did the same thing. You know, 50 Cent did the same thing on his albums. He bragged about drinking and, you know, doing drugs and all that stuff. And then it came out that 50 Cent doesn't do drugs. And he doesn't do drugs because he saw how drugs affected his mother. And he doesn't drink. And he's probably one of the healthiest guys in the rap industry. You know, he created vitamin water. He's very healthy. He watches what he eats. So I don't understand, like, why that can't be promoted. Why is it not okay to promote a healthy lifestyle? Why is it not okay to not be high? I honestly really feel like a lot of these mumble rappers, they came to be. They were high as hell in the studio. They were leaning off of some damn lean. And basically, they're just mumbling. They're mumbling not even because it's a style. They're mumbling because that's what you do when you're high out your mind. You just kind of mumble and you just kind of lean back and forth and you just really don't make any sense. You're kind of incoherent. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like that's where that mumble rap style came from, was from a bunch of fools just in the studio, high off lean and doing them. You know, so it's really sad. A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of things that can happen when you're constantly abusing drugs. And just because they come from a doctor doesn't mean that they're any more safer than you tooting heroin or, you know, getting high off of Molly or, you know, taking stuff. Prescription drugs can have just as much of a negative side effect as street drugs. They're highly addictive. It's not safer. It takes a toll on your liver. It's such a double-edged sword, especially when you have something like a chronic illness or constant pain and you have to depend on prescription drugs, but then you have to walk a very fine line and know to only use them when you really need them. You know, and people don't realize that these drugs can take a toll on your liver, on your heart, on a lot of things. So if you don't need them, you really shouldn't be doing them. You know, I know a lot of people who have chronic pain and chronic illnesses who would love to trade places with a fucking Future or 50 Cent, who don't have to use drugs and, you know, who are able to live a healthy lifestyle. So it's like, why are you promoting this to the youth? And I see so many young people getting involved in it, and so many young folks will come. I mean, you'll be partying in LA and people will come up to you like, yo, you got some perks, you got some Molly, you got some lean. You know, like, people aren't even embarrassed. Like, back in the day, you would kind of be low key about it. Now people just walk up to you and just, you know, ask you, do you have pills on you? Because they assume everybody has pills on them. You know, if you're partying, you have to be high when you party, because who parties sober? You know, the person who parties sober is Lecrae.
Probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. They probably think I'm rolling, I ain't on nothing. Turned up, yeah, homie, I'm turned. I ain't popping, rolling, and I ain't burnt. So tell Mary and Molly, I don't need them to party. Someone woke up in the lobby trying to locate their wallet.
He dropped his song, I'm Turned. I love that song, because it's like, yes, you actually can turn up and have a good time without being high out your mind, drunk out your mind, being high off of Molly's and, you know, doing dumb shit. You actually can have a good goddamn time sober, okay? Trust me, I've done it. Kind of sad that this generation feels like they have to be turned up all the time, or that they have to use some type of drugs to have a good time. And a lot of this nonsense and that mentality is coming from a lot of these mumble rappers. So I'm glad that Floyd Mayweather called it out. So anyways, y'all, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation concerning Floyd Mayweather calling out Future and the rest of these mumble rappers for promoting drug use. So go ahead and leave a comment. All right, deuces. Hey you guys, it's your girl T. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share my videos. You can also visit Lovelyti.com to purchase any merchandise. Also, don't forget to click the boxes down below to watch any of my previous videos. Talk to y'all later. Deuces.